El tipo de comida que nosotros servimos en este restaurante es comida mexicana, 100%. Sí, el especial, mole poblano, los tamales. El negocio lo empezamos en julio 4 del año 2012. Bueno, mi propio restaurante, no exactamente mi propio restaurante. Este restaurante empezó como un restaurante familiar. Primero empezaron mis padres, que es el señor Pedro Ríos Hernández y la señora Inés Sandoval Pérez, que ellos iniciaron este restaurante para ellos mismos. Y después nos incluimos nosotros, mi hermano Pedro y yo, en ayudarles para preparar sus cosas y ayudarles en este restaurante. Y las cosas se fueron dando de otra forma mucho mejor para dar un buen servicio, para dar calidad de comida. Y así sucesivamente fue pasando los días, los meses, los años y hasta lograr hasta donde estamos ahora. Claro que sí. Siempre he trabajado, casi toda mi vida he trabajado en restaurante desde la Ciudad de México. En la Ciudad de México trabajar en un buen restaurante es como haber estudiado la universidad. Y bueno, cuando llegué en este país en el año 2000, primero trabajé en factorías, pero a su vez busqué trabajo en restaurante. Trabajé como dishwasher, después pasé como busboy y después pasé como food runner. Trabajé para la compañía de Steven Starr. Y el restaurante que estuve más años fue para Alma de Cuba. Alma de Cuba estuve por 10 años trabajando con ellos. Y bueno, es ahí donde yo aprendí cómo se tiene que servir para el mercado americano. Y todo lo que yo aprendí en Alma de Cuba venía y lo aplicaba en ese restaurante. Fue como hemos progresado en ese restaurante. ¿Qué me trajo aquí a Filadelfia? Bueno, para empezar, cuando yo llegué en este país, solamente tomé una decisión de venir a conocer qué era Estados Unidos, qué significaba, qué era, qué había. Porque yo tenía un buen trabajo en México, estaba muy estable, pero siempre tuve esa duda, ¿qué es Estados Unidos? Y bueno, yo llegué aquí a Filadelfia porque aquí se encontraba mi papá. Él llegó primero a este país y llegó a Filadelfia. Entonces yo también llegué a Filadelfia con él. Y Filadelfia pues me gustó y aquí me quedé.
My family comes from Peru. We were all born there. My sister, she wanted to study here. So my mom didn't want to be without her daughter, so she decided to sell her dental supply store in order for us to be together. We came here in 2001, so my mom started working cleaning houses, cleaning apartments. She started working at malls, food area, preparing, cleaning. She wanted to save money because she had a goal. She knew that she wanted to open another business here. She didn't know what, but she knew that in order for her to open a business, she needed capital. My stepdad was also a chef, so that's why she decided to buy a Balconcito one back in 2005. We expanded ever since. In 2008, we opened Balconcito 2, and in 2018, we opened Vista Peru. After El Balconcito 1 and El Balconcito 2 were successful, it got to a point that my mom wanted to relax, wanted to spend more time with her grandkids. She wanted to take advantage that she was still young and felt very young. So she decided to travel more, and then that's when the other co-owners took over, and that's when the idea of expanding began, and that's when I started thinking of Vista Peru. I think that we are really blessed because since day one, we knew that if we worked hard, we were going to be successful, and that's what happened. We don't close any day of the week. We're open from 11 to 12 each day. We knew that we didn't have any competition, and in the whole city, there was no Peruvian restaurant when we opened. So we knew that we could take advantage of that as well. So that's why we decided to open El Balconcito 1, El Balconcito 2, and Vista Peru. That's why I wanted to bring the authentic Peruvian cuisine here to Philadelphia. I wanted people to maybe know that the influences behind the cuisine come from Italians, Africans, Asians, and that's why we are so different.
I was born and raised in Northwest Argentina, in the small town of Palpalá. I grew up surrounded by my family, my relatives, my grandmothers, and I received like really good progressive education. I have known about farm to table because that's just the way that I grew up eating. Organic food is what I had growing up. My mom always make all our foods from scratch. And then also that's my connection, a little bit my connection to food. But I also been like a very hands-on kid. I would like to get my hands on like painting or, assembling a piece of furniture or, also just like playing around with crafts. So that was always my thing. And whenever I could get my hands on something, I would always be happy. So a little bit of like that, I think it translates to where I am today. Also, one of the main industries in my town, it was a steel mill. I call Jezabel a little bit of like the modern expression of Northwest Argentine traditions because the walls are painted white, just like my grandmother's walls. There is a lot of like exposed steel. There is a lot of like natural wood. I believe it's a modern setting. It's 2021 and, this is what it looks like to me. It's a little bit of those like memories from home in Philadelphia, in the US. So one of the memories I have from maybe around like, I'm gonna say 5-6 years old, my parents were building their home, the house where I grew up, and a wood shop made all the windows and the doors, and I just remember going to with my dad, we will go to the wood shop. And so whenever I will get near one of like these big machines that I have a little bit of sawdust, I will always grab that and put it on my pocket. It's like, I think that rawness of like the smell of wood, which is something that I really love right now when I go and make furniture. And I love the smell of wood. I love the smell of steel. So I always remember the day that I went with my dad to this wood shop, and I will always try to run to a corner to grab a little sawdust and put it in my pocket. And I think that idea of playfulness, I love to have that today as part of my life. I'm a very curious person. So I'm always like reading something, I'm grabbing a design magazine. If I see, a masterclass with Yotam Ottolenghi, I'm gonna watch it over and over and over again because those are flavors that I really enjoy as well. I'm very curious, and I'm always willing to try at least once. If I don't like it, it's totally fine. But if I like it, I'm gonna keep digging onto it. And that's just the way that I have gotten my hands onto all the things that I do today. I don't think I experienced barriers when growing my business as a woman or as a Latina. I'm pretty strong on my beliefs and my values and what I do. So I just keep moving along. If you like it, great. And if you don't, which not everybody has to like it, I'm okay too. I'm gonna find my way.
I have been designing and building restaurants for the past 30 years. 15 years ago, I opened my first restaurant, which was Bar Ferdinand, and then opened this a couple years later. And this has kind of kept me super busy since then. At one point in 2005, I met Bart Blatstein and was hired to design some restaurants up here in Northern Liberties. And he kind of made me an offer I couldn't refuse. He needed somebody to operate said restaurant, and I opened up Bar Ferdinand first. This was in 2006, and Bart opened up El Camino Real 2 years later when this space became available. I wanted to open up something that was complementary to Bar Ferdinand, which was a Spanish tapas bar, but not competition to. So I thought Mexican restaurant with a good vibe and great margaritas would be a really cool idea. I met my opening chef, Jezabel. We took a trip down to El Paso and Juarez on the Mexican border, and we zeroed in on the concept of northern Mexican and Texas barbecue. In northern Mexico, there's a road an old road that ran from Juarez and El Paso all the way down to Chihuahua, which was known as the El Camino Real. And I felt that that was really a nice fitting name to tie the concept of a Mexican Texas border bar together. While we were down in El Paso, went to a couple amazing Texas barbecue joints, and really then decided that's what we wanted to do, which is focus in on, what was an old, Texas was part of Mexico, up until the 1800s, and everything that we wanted to do, I felt was traditional and not just Tex-Mex watered down. This neighborhood, there were questions as to, back in 2005, 2006, whether restaurants, in Northern Liberties would really draw people from the rest of the city. And as we can see now, it is proved out. So that was a hurdle that I was able to get over. But generally, opening a restaurant is the easiest part. It's operating a restaurant and keeping your sanity and staying viable, as a business is really a challenge. It's really a hands-on operation.
I was born in Colombia, actually, born and raised. My parents decided to move to the United States in 2001. So I was 14 when we all moved together. My family has lived in Philadelphia for way longer, so we kind of always knew that our future was going to take place here. As soon as my sister finished high school, my parents said, okay, let's go, we're going. Just like every other immigrant family, we literally moved here with nothing in our hands, just our clothes, right? We brought our clothing and that was it. For me, it was going to a new country, it was learning a new language, it was meeting new people, it was all of that was waiting for me here. Disney World, everything, right? One thing that I do admire about my parents is how brave they are, right? Because I was brought here, right? I haven't been in a position for me to make a decision to move to a different country where I don't know what awaits for me, right? But my parents did that for us, for our future. When we were growing up in Colombia, my dad was a salesman. Actually, he was one of the top salesmen for a company down there. And I never saw him dressed as a baker. And so when we come here and he starts telling people that he's a baker, I'm like, huh, did you? And so I started finding out that we come from we're like a third generation of bakers. So my grandpa was a baker and he then taught all of his kids how to bake. So all of the recipes that we have are from my grandpa. But I didn't know of this. I don't know why. I didn't know. I started finding out about my family more when I was here. Someone said, hey, someone is selling a restaurant that just sadly, they closed their doors. And I think that you could open a bakery there. And so my father comes home and sits my sister, my mom, and I down. And he says, hey, there's an opportunity that has come about in which we could potentially open our own bakery. I want to let you guys know the opportunity and see if you guys agree, because it's going to be really hard and it would need the effort of every single one of you guys. It's not going to be just me. It's going to require you to have to work after school. It's going to require my sister to have to be the counter girl. It's going to require my mom to be a part of it. So he made sure that every one of us kind of knew what we were getting into, and that we were going to do it as a family. And so that's what we did. I remember me going yes, I'm in, 16. I don't know what I was going to get into. And so it was difficult. There was a lot of difficulties, and within that was my parents got divorced, and then my little world came crashing down. And actually, by the time when my parents got divorced, we had done well enough to open a second spot. And so in this case, I stood with my mom, helping her in the business, and then my sister kind of went with my dad and helped him in the business. That led us to my mother and I opening here on Wyoming Avenue. This time, it was my mother and I only. It was a lot tougher. It was a lot harder, but we came through together. So if we jump to 2016 is when I was 25 years old. I had already kind of matured within the business. I saw the opportunity and the fortune that I had to be able to share my culture of Colombia through what I think is one of the 3 pillars in our community, and that is coffee, food, and service. And I remember going to my mom and telling her, hey, I think that I have this idea. I want to create this brand of Café Tinto, and I would love for you to trust me and allow me to sort of drive this, idea into what it is today. And so ever since 2016, it came under my management, and we were rebranded as Café Tinto. I think that a memory from Colombia that still drives what I want to do with Café Tinto, or what I wake up to do every day. I just remember, my mom serving us coffee, because we drink coffee when we're little. Down there, it's like a norm. The service, and also our food. And so every time I go back, I try to discover new towns in which I can find some inspiration to bring back here. I think that we're very centered in our community and in providing really the Colombian experience. And of course, we're not the only Colombian bakery in the city. I just think that Café Tinto adds a little bit of fusion. We are Colombian with an American twist. and I don't think that there's anything else like it in the city of Philadelphia.
Estamos en América. En América es internacional. So, cuando llegas a América puedes probar de todo. Entonces, en Alma del Mar hay un toque de comida de todo el mundo, no solo mexican.
I love fish, personally, and we focus in that kind of direction. We have a fish store, so we have fresh fish. So, and we focus in that way. When I live in Mexico, I see the show there, and the guy swim in the ocean and grab the lobster, and I'm thinking about it. Oh, maybe one day I want to try that. And really, right now, I mean, in the United States, everything is possible. So it's one of my main things. So now I try to show all the person, hey, listen, you come to Alma del Mar, you can try lobster, and lobster is delicious. One of my favorites right now is octopus. We try all the time to do it different ways on a grill. We added like watermelon on a grill. Everybody said, watermelon in a grill? I never know you can do that.
It's so good. Mix it out with the watermelon and octopus, so good. You need to try.
I'm a little bit crazy and I like to experiment sometimes.
Una de las barreras que he tenido en Alma del Mar, el primero es en inglés. El inglés no nos ayuda mucho y no creen en nosotros quizá porque somos latinos y a veces me siento que a los pequeños negocios no nos ven y me siento a veces así, pero aquí estamos trabajando y luchando y vamos a dar lo mejor de nosotros.
We opened in the middle of the pandemic
Last
year. And everything here is like kind of crazy. Para mí la definición de ser un líder la entendí muy bien aquí en Alma del Mar, porque un líder no debe de tener miedo. Un líder debe de seguir guiando a su gente, muchas veces aunque haya riesgos. Aquí lo entendí muy bien porque había miedo. Everybody's scared, and I said, oh, this is opportunity. So we see the opportunity, personal, and me, my wife, and my friends, we see the good chance, because I said a lot of restaurants close. So if a lot of restaurants close, we can open, we can. We learn. You know?
My neighbors, he said, Marcos is crazy. Why he opened in the middle of the pandemic? He's crazy. And I know he's crazy too.
The right way. The right way.
Bueno, gracias a Dios me hace sentir bien, y muchas gracias por al día y la persona que se interesó en darnos este espacio. Para mí ahí implica que hemos dado lo mejor de nosotros.
I know that this recognition will help me reach my goal. That goal is to share my culture. I knew that I wanted Peruvian food to be very well known in Philadelphia.
Well, I'm really humble and honored to receive this award by DÍA as one of their, top restaurateurs in the city of Philadelphia. Recognition on this job is really important. And sometimes as Latinos, I think we get thrown in the same bag, and I really like to, even as an Argentine person, we don't serve beef or things like that. So we try to do things a little bit different, and I think I'm just really honored and happy for receiving this recognition of what we've been doing in the city since 2010.
Being selected as an DÍA top restaurateur it's an honor and a big surprise. I don't seek this out, I've been in this neighborhood and a part of this community for 40 years. And Al DÍA has been, part of that. It's an honor.
To me, to be selected as a 2021 top restaurateur with Al DÍA News is definitely an honor. I am so grateful for the opportunity. I'm so glad that all the hard work is being recognized. I love that you guys are putting an emphasis in small Latino community businesses. I thank you guys. Thank you so much.
We want to say thank you to all the customers. They came and they do the good reviews. Thank you very much. Thank you all the supporters.
Gracias por seleccionarnos a nosotros. Nos sentimos muy bendecidos. Gracias. Muchas gracias a ustedes por seleccionarnos.